back to God's country shooting and outdoors. Is the Remington rifles dead and gone, just a memory, or are they on the rebound? Let's look at that. Alright, so this is a Remington Model 7 7mm 08. I really can't tell you how many deer that I've taken with this gun. This was my first real Remington bolt action rifle. I bought it in 1996. As a matter of fact, I bought it in September of 1996. This was when Remington was still Remington. And this is a Remington Model 700 mountain rifle in 30-06. This one was made in 1998. So, my point being, with those two rifles, is they're both made when Remington was still the original Remington. And both of them were very well made and well shooting guns. But there was a lot of things that happened. The amount of people hunting began to fall off. There was a lot of hunting and not a lot of shooting, and as far as sport shooting for most of the country, and that really took a toll on Remington, and they began to lose a lot of money. Their debt went up, and just on and on. The lawsuits from the Sandy Hook school shooting, they got bought out. The company that bought them out were investors that were all about profit, not so much about the quality of guns. Remington tried getting into the budget gun industry. Wasn't necessarily all that great. They had a trigger problem. That caused a lot of issues when they tried to keep up with the Savage AccuTrigger. And they really just kind of fell to the back of the line when it comes to guns. But I'm going to be honest with you. I've been a Remington person. I remember growing up in the hunting camps. There were some exceptions, but for the most part, you saw either a Winchester lever action, a Marlin lever action, a Winchester Model 70, or a Remington Model 700. Those were the guns that you typically saw. Occasionally, you'd see like what I have, the Model 7, the 74, Remington 7400, Remington 7600. But for the most part, those were the guns that you saw. I always liked the way that the Remington fit me better than I did the Winchester 70s. Winchester 70s are a great gun. But, you know, back in the day, that's the gun I chose, was Remington. And I was a real Remington buff. Remington shirts, Remington hats. 9 times out of 10 in my 20s, if you saw me out, you saw me either in a Hoyt bow hat or a Remington firearms hat. But today I want to talk about not just the history and the legend of Remington, but I want to look at whether or not they're actually going to be able to come back. So 2020, I believe it was, there was a company called Remington Arms that bought Remington out, and they've been manufacturing rifles for a few years. And a few weeks ago, as I thought about the old days of hunting as, you know, a teenager and a young 20-ish young man, a long time ago, I loved them, but they fell off the market. So have they came back, or are they dead? With this new company, Remington Arms, that's bought Remington out, I have talked to them, a couple of representatives, and they seem very ambitious and really wanting to bring back. They have a lot of not just nostalgia for the old Remington Arms, but they really want to bring back Remington to the name that it used to be. Now, Remington Arms and Remington Ammunition are two separate companies, and Remington Arms actually, I think, leases the logo and stuff for Remington, or from Vista Outdoors, for the Remington logo and such. but they're really trying to bring back the old Remington name and reliability. So with that, I would like to talk to you about the Remingtons of today. Where are they at? How are they doing? And where are they going? With that said, I want to introduce you to the Remington 783. I bought this gun in 350 Legend because I didn't have a 350 Legend in bolt action. I did go ahead and put the BSA Suite 350 on it to try out. I can't say it's the best scope for this gun. It's definitely not the best scope for checking group sizes. 3x9, 9 zooms is about all it's got. But at the same time, it's definitely going to tell us what we need to know about this gun. So go ahead and drop a scope on it. This video is a little bit backwards. I actually got it to before I made this video because of just the amount of time that I had. So let's talk about what I found. The Remington 783 is typical composite stock. The front end is about like what you'd find on the Savage or the Ruger, older Ruger Americans, the Gen 1s. They're about the same. The texture and the handle is not bad. Texture here is not bad. The weight of the gun, I don't remember. It's definitely not bad. It's comparable to the Ruger Gen 1 and to the Savage Axis. One thing about this gun I didn't like is the back end right here. This gun does have a plasticky feel, and it sounds more hollow right here. But I mean, it still feels pretty rigid. The butt plate back here is actually not horribly bad. It absorbs really well. The barrel on this gun is kind of a middle of the road. It's not quite your pencil barrel. It's just a little bit heavier than that. The bolt on it is a 2-lug bolt, typical 90-degree throw. The trigger on this gun, I haven't measured it. It is adjustable as far as I know. I don't remember what Remington calls their AccuTrigger type trigger on it right off. Maybe I can put that in the editing in the video right there. So the safety is standard safety on these guns. It's on the right hand side right here, thumb level, so it's not actually out of the way too much. It is just a 2-stage. It's either safe for fire. Safe for fire. That's it. The trigger again, it's not bad from the factory. 3.5 pounds, maybe 4. About right for me. So it's not horribly bad. I just didn't measure it. This gun so far, and we'll definitely go over the range video, and maybe it's pouring the rain today, so maybe I get out to the range and do a couple more group testings with this gun. I do know that I was able to ring steel fairly easy at 200 yards with this gun. Group sizes so far with only one type of ammunition is 1.25 inches. But that's not horrible considering the scope that I got, because I'm not even 100% sure how well I like the BSA scope as it is right now. We're going to get some more range time in with this gun. I'm not too terribly disappointed in it so far. I want to do a video before long on is there any budget rifles left to buy in 2024. There'll be a lot of people that look at this gun and they'll be like, that's cheap, you know, and I will give them credit. It is cheap priced. The price on this gun is very reasonable. And unless you're a really substantial shooter, if you're used to Benelli, if you're used to Berger, if you're used to, the more high-end ammunitions and rifles, you probably won't really like this gun that well. I mean, it's not the most expensive gun. However, Remington's really trying to step up their game, and that's what I want to know. I want to know, is Remington really trying to bring up their guns back to the old original Remingtons. Now, having said that, talking to representatives, it is on the board to look at going ahead and threading some of their guns, especially in the 783s. I think that's a great idea. I think that they really should look at threading their barrels. There's a few little nitpicky things I would talk to them about, but for the most part, I mean, if you're looking for a budget gun to start a youth out or to start a young person out shooting and hunting with, I really do believe that you could probably put just a little bit better scope than what I have on it. But a 3x9, I mean, I'm not complaining. Like I say, I can drill 6-inch steel at 200 yards with it. That's not too terribly bad. That's definitely able to take a deer, a white-tailed deer at 200 yards. Now that's pushing the limits of this 350, but yeah, I really think that for the money, this is a very budget-friendly rifle that will get the job done. I haven't had any real feeding issues yet. Well, no, I take that back. I did have a couple feeding issues. There is a little small, like a burr, and you'll probably see that in the video, but there's a little spot right there that what I've done is when I felt that, like it didn't want to go in, I'd go ahead and pull back to get more push behind it. And when I would do that, I pick up another bullet and almost, jam one into the other. So that was my bad. But there is, when you go to feed it, and I found that more on the bench when I was just, benching like this. But if I pick the gun up, it's not nowhere near as noticeable as just kind of racking it from a bench. But that was my bad. I did find that what I was doing to cause that stovepipe, so to speak, was my bad. It was the way I was trying to clear it. So I'm going to own up to that one. So you'll see that in the next video. Anyways, we're going to take this to the range today. It's pouring the rain, but I may try to still get at least in a little bit of shooting time and try about 4 different ammos to see how this thing shoots. And I will try to get back with you, okay? Hey, y'all have a blessed day. Remember, love God, love your country, love your family, love the outdoors. Pass it on.